Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different and I'm going to be trying out Renee Amberg's weekly planning routine. If you're not familiar with Renee, she's basically a content creator who lives in New York City. She actually recently just spoke about the fact that she's moving back to Florida, which is where she's from, which is also where I'm from. So I recently started watching her channel a lot more and she showed her kind of updated weekly planning routine that she goes through to track her weekly habits, any challenges she's working on for the week, as well as any specific tasks she needs to do. She also gave us a look into her calendar blocking scheduling system that she uses. So I was really intrigued by it and I figured why not try it out and tell you guys how it goes. So a little bit of background in terms of my personal schedule is I used to be really into using a paper planner, and then I switched to using Notion, where I just kept track of my kind of to-do items and then planned out when I was going to do what during each day of the week, etc. And the issue I had with this was for a long time I thought that I thrived on routine and that I did really well with routine. And what my brain kept telling me was that routine meant following the schedule that you set for yourself and being consistent with it. But the thing that I realized after finally quitting my 9-to-5 job was that for me, routine wasn't about doing the thing that I said I was going to do that day. That's a whole separate concept of discipline. For me, routine just meant going to bed at the same time, kind of having a similar morning routine or evening routine throughout the day, and doing those specific habits each day or during the week that make me feel accomplished and overall content and at peace, because a lot of the things that I like to do in the morning really just help my overall mental and physical health. I had been focusing on the productive side of a routine and schedule and just trying to get as much done as I possibly could and then feeling guilt about it. And I really like the way that she set this up because it really sets you up for success in terms of getting the things done that you need to get done without feeling so much guilt that you didn't do what you were supposed to do, if that makes sense, and also allowing a lot more flexibility. Now, if you're still working your 9-to-5 job, obviously you might not have as much flexibility, but I think this can definitely be applied to both the personal side of your life, whether you're trying to get out of your 9-to-5 job and work on something on the side, or just the basic personal parts of your life. If you're just in a happy 9-to-5 work-life balance that you enjoy, to kind of work on your personal habits as well as get the things done for your work that you need to get done, especially if you have any small amount of flexibility with your job, such as what you work on each day, or at least even different parts of the day. If you can kind of set yourself up for success that way, I think it's really beneficial. I'm going to start by explaining what this weekly planning schedule or routine looks like, and then I will show you guys what I planned out and then give you updates throughout the week of how it went, as well as a final review at the end of the video. So to start out, the biggest key component of this, in my opinion, is the healthy habits section. Now, Renee used like a whiteboard style that she wrote out her habits, as well as 5 check mark dots to kind of check off when she completed it. What I really liked about this was that she only put 5 circles instead of 7, and a lot of habit tracking follows the rhythm of either showing all 7 days of the week and whether or not you expected to get it done every single day, you mark off the days that you did it, or putting all 7 days of the week as it must be done every single day. I liked the flexibility of putting 5, and I think the key takeaway from this is you should put as many as you think is maybe either in your comfort zone or slightly out of your comfort zone. The next comment with this is Renee did put 7 habits that she wanted to kind of track during the week. I only put 4 because I'm still trying to kind of get in the swing of things with my new routine and my new habits now that I'm not working my job. I think you got to just kind of think about your own life and where you're at and which habits you already have pretty down consistently. And I would suggest not adding more than 2 new habits to your routine at any week. So the 4 healthy habits I picked were having 1 cup of caffeine per day, reading before bed, stretching every morning, and doing a daily devotional. And the reason I picked these is because having 1 caffeine per day is something I've been consistently doing, so I don't really see there being a big issue for me to do that 5 days out of the week, as well as reading before bed. I've been doing that not every day, but probably every other day, so I think that one's like a little bit out of my comfort zone, but definitely doable. My morning devotional is something that I used to do very consistently every morning, but I've very much gotten out of the habit of that, so that's kind of an old habit that I'm trying to renew, so it will feel new and more difficult to kind of do every single day, but I think it's definitely possible for me. And to the last one being stretching, this is something that I'm adding that's completely new for me. I've been feeling really stiff lately and realized that I need to kind of start getting my body moving a bit more. I've been walking a lot more and riding a bike a lot more, and my body just like isn't used to it, so I figured adding in morning stretches would do me some good. So the next thing that Renee adds into her weekly planning routine is the concept of weekly challenges. And I really like this because she basically set a few challenges for herself, something that she would just complete one time during the week, and she added that to her whiteboard, and then once she got that done, she would just check it off for the week. And I think this is a great way to add in some of the more fun things that you want to do that maybe they're just more difficult for you to get yourself up and go do. So for me, I picked only 2 challenges because I am not great at trying new things and I'm trying to work on it. So for me, 2 was plenty versus Renee actually added 4. The challenges that I added were to go to the library because that is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I finally have my DC license, so I want to go get my library card and just check out our local library, as well as try out a new park. I love going to parks and just kind of hanging out and reading a book there or eating lunch, but something I haven't done in a while is try a new park. I've been very much in my comfort zone, and there's so many parks in DC around me. That is definitely a great challenge for me to just try a new park this week. The next thing that Renee has is this sticky note pull-off system, and basically what she does is for specific activities that she does every single week that have different options for them. So for example, working out, you might do an arm workout, a leg workout, an ab workout. You basically just want to get maybe 1 of each of those done during the week or 2 of each of those, but it doesn't really matter exactly what day you do it on, or you just want to give yourself a bit more flexibility. That's where the sticky note pull-off system comes in handy. I didn't have the sticky notes, so I just added it to my weekly spread that I created on paper with some stickers. But basically the one I'm working on is not working out, but just getting fresh air. So I set it up where I want to go for 2 walks outside, visit a park twice, and then sit on the roof once this week. So basically 5 times during the week I want to get fresh air. And the way it works is it's not any specific day, but whatever day I can just pick one of those out of the 5 that I have there, and the goal is to just mark off all 5 by the end of the week. Another way you can use this for work specifically is you could put specific tasks that you need to do that week with the ability to pull off those sticky notes when they get done, or for me, add a sticker to it once it's completed. For me, I used YouTube and I set up my 3 videos that I want to create this week, and I have 1 spot for film and 1 spot for edit for each of the 3 videos. As the week goes on and I complete each of those, I will put a sticker next to that. And then lastly, the other one I did was Instacart because I am doing more gig work right now. I wanted to set up some way to track how many times I'm doing Instacart throughout the week. So I put 3 Instacart sessions with the ability for me to kind of put a sticker next to it as I complete them throughout the week. And that is the basic gist of the paper version or sticky note and whiteboard, whatever variation you're using to track that. That is the gist of what that part of the routine looks like. Now, moving on to the digital version, Renee uses a to-do list or like a master to-do list that she keeps actually in her Google Calendar to keep track of the things that she needs to get done that week, so that each morning when she goes into calendar block, she knows exactly what she needs to make sure happens during that week. I already have a system that I use in Notion to keep track of like my master to-do list, so I'm going to continue using that as my to-do list. But for calendar blocking, this is where things change a little bit for me, and I'm really excited to try this system out. So instead of setting up a basic calendar blocking system that you keep the same every day of the week, or every Monday looks the same, every Tuesday looks the same, etc., she does a calendar blocking every single morning. So basically at the beginning of her day, she sits down at her computer and she blocks out that entire day based off of what things she needs to get done that day. What I really like about this is it allows the flexibility for you to see how you feel in the morning, and it really nicely goes along with the paper version that I'm using for my weekly planning, because I can look at the different things that I have the option of doing and I can add them into my calendar blocking. I will be using Apple Calendar or iCal because that's what I've already been using instead of using Google Calendar like Renee uses, but I will be following pretty much the same principles and I will keep you guys updated how it all goes. But that is the basic gist of the planning routine, and now I will jump forward with you guys to let you know how it's going during the week, and then at the end of the video, make sure to stay tuned to get my full review and the overall tips and tricks I have that I've added to this routine to make it work better for me. So today's Sunday and it's about halfway through like the time frame of my weekly plan because it's Thursday to Wednesday because I started on such a weird day. So I wanted to update you guys and show you where I'm at with this plan and just some reflections before we get to the end of the week. And then at the end, after this, I will of course give you my full review and the pros and cons of doing this. So if you look here on my healthy habits, I have devotional, which I've done 3 out of 5 already, stretch, which I've done 3 out of 5, 1 caffeine per day, which I've done 3 out of 5, and read before bed, which I've done 2 out of 5. So I'm doing pretty well considering I still have tonight for read before bed, as well as Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. So as long as I do 3 out of those 4 days, I will be good to go. And caffeine, I have no problem reaching. I've been only having 1 cup of coffee per day as well as today, so that will be reached hopefully by tomorrow. These as well, I've been doing every morning since Friday, so I don't see that being an issue. I've really enjoyed doing them, and I really like adding like my little feelings for each one after I do it. It kind of like helps you just have something to look back on and to like remind yourself why you're doing this, especially if you're feeling like unmotivated to continue a habit halfway through the day. For my YouTube, I have done 2 videos now. I just finished editing my 2nd video, and the 3rd video, which is the one I'm currently filming, I will be able to edit and post before this week is over, so that one will be checked off. Fresh air, I've done really well. I've done 2 walks outside as well as already relaxed in a park, and then I have a plan to, for my challenge, try out a new park as well as then obviously relax in that park early this next week. So I'm probably going to do that either tomorrow or Tuesday, so that will easily get checked off. I do have a plan to go to the library with Kim on Thursday, which is actually past the end of this week. So I'm thinking on either Monday or Tuesday, I'm just going to go to the library, get my library card sorted out, and then just kind of walk around and get a feel for it. And then the only other one for fresh air is I need to sit on the roof. I probably am going to end up going on more walks outside before this week is over potentially, which is awesome. And I'm trying to decide, I might like add in like another note that I did go on more walks if I do that, or I might just leave it as is. But sitting on the roof I think will be an easy one. I'm sure there's one day in the next few days that I will need some fresh air and want to go just like sit on the roof to work for a little bit. The only thing I've done really bad at is these Instacart sessions, and I think it might be because I overestimated and added the 3rd session. I know I like initially only put 2, and then I decided like, oh, I should just put the 3rd one. I should have just stuck with 2, because now when I see this I get really overwhelmed and I'm like, wow, 3 Instacart sessions, like that's just a lot. So yeah, I think with that it's kind of hard because also my husband worked a ton this week, so he's had the car most days, so I haven't really been able to do Instacart much, and he's actually been working his morning shift, which is like 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Instacart is, in my opinion, the most lucrative if you do it in the morning. I think my lesson learned from that one will be to only put 2 sessions per week at first to not overwhelm myself, and then move from there. As for the calendar blocking, because that's the other component of this, I think that has been going great. I am still getting in the habit and the swing of things, and you know, a lot of these habits that I'm working on for like the healthy habits section was like morning routine habits, because I'm just starting to finally implement pieces of a morning routine again, because ever since I quit my job I've just been so burnt out that I've just been recovering and kind of chilling every morning, and now I'm just starting to finally get back into the swing of things. I don't have like a great routine in terms of like a timeline, so a lot of times I don't actually end up doing my morning calendar blocking until it's like later in the day. So I'm debating if whether what I need to do to adjust is to calendar block the night before so that I actually have a plan when I wake up and something to stick to, or if I just need to kind of work on my morning routine and get that more squared away so that I do end up calendar blocking early in the morning, like before 9 a.m. I'm going to experiment the next few days with that, and I will keep you guys posted. But in general, I think the calendar blocking has been working great because it's just keeping me overall accountable with the things I wanted to get done each day, but also not overwhelming me by seeing like this big to-do list of things I need to do and then actually not even doing them. But the other thing I find is that since I'm using calendar blocking as kind of like my schedule, I don't check my to-do list as much. So I kind of need to find a way to incorporate my to-do list and my calendar blocking together, and whether that's just being more proactive with actually checking my to-do list, or it's again getting into a better routine with the calendar blocking where I like check my to-do list, adjust with my calendar blocking, and go from there. Again, I think it's all going great, and I've been feeling a lot better personally in terms of just being on top of things and feeling like I'm getting more done, but not in a way that feels restrictive, which I really appreciate. So I'm really loving this. Renee, you did a great job with this. I'm very curious where you got this routine from. Did you come up with it yourself? Like, did it come from different resources that you've learned about? Please let us know. I'm sure we're all curious where in the world you got this routine, because it's pretty great and I'm very much enjoying it. Hello, it's been quite a few days since I started this, and I'm actually like one day before the last day, but it's already been pretty obvious to me some of the issues that I've had with this routine, as well as the positives or great things that have come out of me doing this routine. So So wanted to sit down with you guys and tell you what I consider the pros and cons and things that I've adjusted to make it work a bit better for me. So the number one thing that I adjusted that I started from the get-go was having everything all on one sheet. I didn't use the sticky note pull-off method because I wanted something to track and look back at throughout the weeks and see how things go. So that is the first thing I adjusted. The second thing that I kind of added onto this is, since I did a weekly spread like this, on the back of each sheet, I'm going to journal out at the end of the week how the week went, the positives and negatives, and just overall how I felt and any reflections I had, because then I can look at the healthy habits that I picked for that week, look at my reflection, and kind of see if there's any correlation. Another thing I found that was really helpful for me was to actually time block out a few days at a time instead of just doing the morning of doing that one whole time block and then waiting till the next day. I actually time blocked out a few days at a time, and I initially started by doing one day at a time, but I found that I wasn't time blocking as often. There was times where I didn't even start to time block until like noon or 1 p.m., which then there was only a few more hours left of the day anyways. And I found that I was forgetting to incorporate some of the key components into my week, such as my weekly challenges or the fresh air that I wanted to get, or even the Instacart sessions, because if you can see from my spread, I only have one day left, but I have not done any Instacart sessions and I wanted to do 3. So obviously I can't do 3 all in one day. So what that means is I failed on that part. My key takeaway here was that once I started time blocking like 2 to 3 days in advance for that whole 2 to 3 days, I started to be able to see what I could actually get done, what I couldn't get done, and trying to incorporate these new things that I was adding in to each of the days so I didn't miss anything. And the last thing to add that I did a bit differently was with my healthy habits. I already mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I did write out like a word to describe how that habit made me feel when I did it each day. And I really liked this a lot because it was really motivating each day. Whenever I would wake up and be like, oh, like I don't want to stretch right now, like I don't want to do it, I could just look at the last 3 days and be like, oh, I felt refreshed one day, I felt less stiff the other day, I felt more awake. And that's just motivation enough to know, wow, that's exactly how that habit made me feel. I'm gonna go do that so I can feel like that again. Besides all of those small changes or things that I added to make it a little bit better for me and work better for my lifestyle, I don't really have anything negative to say about it. I thought this was such a great routine and I really enjoyed planning this way. I'm definitely going to be continuing it, and I will already be using it next week to plan out everything again. I do want to adjust it so I'm not doing this like Thursday to Wednesday week. But yeah, this is such a great way to plan out your week if you want things a little bit less structured, and I would suggest that you put it somewhere close to where you're constantly going to see it, such as like right next to your desk, or pin it to the wall, or whatever works best for you in terms of being able to view it every single day. That's where I would put it. The weekly spreads were great, the calendar blocking was great, and I just continued to utilize my to-do list. I did find that I used my to-do list a bit less this week than I normally use it, but I think that's just because a lot of my to-do items were actually on my weekly spread, and I also was really simplifying this week, and I think that this routine actually helped me to cut out all the fluff and all the pointless tasks that don't matter, and helped me to focus on what I actually cared about this week. So I have nothing but good things to say about it. I would try it out and figure out what works best for you. Find the little tweaks like I did that make it work for your lifestyle, and let me know in the comments below how it goes for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and send it over to Renee, because I would love her to see how much it is impacting other people like me and maybe some of you. Other than that, that is all I have for you this week, and I will see you guys again on Monday. Bye.